In a bustling city filled with tall buildings, shiny cars, and people rushing everywhere, there lived a little boy named Daniel. He was only 8 years old, but life had already taught him the weight of hardship. Daniel's family was very poor. His father had lost his job at the factory, and his mother worked long hours washing clothes just so they could afford food. Daniel, being the eldest child, wanted to help in any way he could. So every day, he stood at busy intersections selling tissue packets to strangers passing by. His clothes were worn out, his shoes had holes, and his tiny hands were rough from long hours under the sun. Yet, he never complained. Deep inside, Daniel carried one wish: to have a pair of proper shoes, just once in his life. The encounter one afternoon, while cars waited at a red light, Daniel walked up to a luxury car, shiny black, polished, and bigger than any car he had ever seen. Inside sat a wealthy businessman, dressed in an expensive suit. Timidly, Daniel held up a packet of tissues. "Sir, would you like to buy some tissues? Just $1? He asked softly. The man looked at him for a moment, then rolled down his window. Instead of taking just one, he reached out and bought the entire bundle. He handed Daniel a crisp $10 bill. Daniel's eyes widened in disbelief. "Thank you, sir. Thank you so much," he said, his face lighting up with joy. The businessman smiled gently and drove away. But Daniel's heart was still racing. To him, $10 was a fortune. The shoe store. With the money clutched tightly in his hand, Daniel walked down the street until he found himself standing in front of a shoe store. Behind the glass window were rows of shiny new shoes. Black, brown, white. Shoes he had only ever dreamed of wearing. He pressed his face to the glass, staring longingly. His own shoes, with torn soles and broken laces, looked more pitiful than ever. He stepped inside, his heart pounding. He ran his fingers over a pair of brown leather shoes, the kind he had imagined wearing to school. But when he looked at the price tag, his heart sank. $100. Daniel slowly checked other pairs. The cheapest one started at $60. He looked down at the $10 in his hand and swallowed hard. For a moment, he felt tears sting his eyes. The silent gesture. What Daniel didn't know was that the same businessman from earlier had seen him enter the store. Curious, the man had stepped out of his car and quietly spoken to the shop owner. He didn't want credit or thanks, just to help. Minutes later, Daniel stood frozen as the shopkeeper suddenly placed a large sign in the window. "Special offer for the festival. Any pair, only $10. Daniel gasped. He couldn't believe his eyes. $10? For any pair? He whispered. The shopkeeper nodded with a smile. "Yes, my boy. Today only." The joy of new shoes. Trembling with excitement, Daniel quickly pointed to the same pair of brown leather shoes he had admired earlier. Shoes that had cost $100 were now his, for just $10. As he held them in his hands, Daniel's heart felt lighter than ever before. He paid, slipped them on, and for the first time in his life, he felt like he truly belonged. Walking out of the store, Daniel couldn't stop smiling. He looked at his reflection in the shop's glass window. His worn-out clothes were still the same, but his shoes, they were perfect. The secret kindness. Once Daniel had left, the shopkeeper quietly removed the discount sign and restored the old prices. Business went on as usual, as if nothing had happened. But something had happened. A wealthy man's small act of kindness had changed a child's world in a way money alone never could. The moral that night? Daniel returned home and proudly showed his mother the shoes. She hugged him tightly, tears in her eyes. The lesson of this story is simple but powerful. True generosity is not measured by how much we give, but by the joy and dignity it brings to others. A $10 bill might have been nothing to a wealthy man, but to Daniel, it was the doorway to happiness, confidence, and hope. Kindness, even in the smallest acts, has the power to change someone's life forever.